Okay, here we go. Good morning. It's time again. Let's do it. Oh, these little um sweatbands or whatever they're called on my ankles actually came with my chi machine because they help to not have a problem. I mean, they help to kind of soften the blow, so the wiggle, right? So, because when I first started, it actually was kind of painful to get things going a little bit because it was just different and it had pressure on my ankles and stuff. So anyway, okay, good morning. If you are new here, then you know that this is just an opportunity for you to hear and learn a little bit more about some of the sassy habits and kind of how, I don't know, they apply and any other stories that I feel like telling you first thing in the morning. You guys are the first talk. You're the first talking that I do in the morning. So you get a lot of my real um, subconscious thoughts, I guess. Because sometimes I haven't been awake for very long before I get started here. So that's all right. All right. Well, the other thing is that by the time I get started, if somebody's joining me live, then I might miss them um because I can't see the computer very good when I'm laying down like this. So today we are talking about prepared. Saucy habit number 6. I am prepared. Now, when we put together these habits as we were building our program, we were talking about, what is the purpose or the plan with being prepared? How does that fit in to basically everything? Well, it does. It really fits into basically everything. So, with I'm prepared, you are looking at every habit and seeing how what you can do to prepare ahead because the truth is if you have to make too many decisions you experience decision fatigue and you move back into old habits. So if you're trying to make new habits, better habits, changes that are going to affect and improve your health, then being prepared for each habit each day is going to be really key. So if you start with um, I'm nourished, I'm being prepared to be nourished looks like having a menu or a meal plan. It looks like packing your lunch the night before so that you don't have to make decisions about what you're going to have for lunch. Are you going to stay on plan? You're going to get off plan. It means setting your vitamins and your supplements up in a way that makes it easy for you to take them and doesn't make you feel like that's too much work. I don't have time to do that. So, some of the things that we did when we ran the program, and some of these things are still habits that I have, or they've evolved into a little bit different way of doing things. But um, we had a little like a pill box, and the on the particular one that we had, and I'll see if I can link it in the comments. It was really great because it was a waterproof pill box and it had the days of the week, but it also had like four compartments per day. And if you're doing the Healthy Habits 90-day reset experience, then you know that going through that 90-day reset requires a lot of supplementation. It's a cleanse. It's a gentle cleanse. It doesn't wear out your okay. Somebody's joining me live. Let's see if I can let him in. There we go. So it's very gentle. It doesn't require you to be near a bathroom all day or anything like that. But it does have a lot of different supplements that do a lot of different things. And in our Healthy Habits 90-day reset course, you can see all of those pieces and why we talk about all of them, about why we use them. But anyway, it takes a little bit of doing to make sure that you're prepared to be able to take those things at the right times each day. Some of them you're taking at mealtime, some of them you're taking at bedtime in the morning. Some of them you're taking without, on an empty stomach and et cetera. So it's a little bit, I mean, it takes a little bit of doing, but you have to consider like what is the result that you're looking for? Because we've made it as easy as possible, but that was one of the things that we did to help us with the being prepared was to have that supplement case. And during that program, when we did it, our company switched our supplements from um, 12 pills to a drink. And actually, the drink covered 9 of the 12 pills. So that was really nice because there was three three left that are chewables, and then they added one more that's a really great probiotic. So that changed things a lot. And so then we had the circular um like a little container to put the things in so that they're easy to access and just make it really simple for you to be able to, shake up your drink and to do your 2-minute morning routine kind of a thing. So that's thinking about, being nourished. That's one part of being nourished. That's about I'm prepared for supplements. So as you're considering, looking at what is your nourishment plan? What is your activity plan? What's your rest plan? When are you fitting things in as far as your stillness? And so also with our nourished plan, we had meal plans. So we always knew like that. That's just good common sense anyway, and it actually saves you money. If you have a meal plan and you know what you're eating this week, then you're not just wandering around the grocery store thinking about what sounds good. You go in with a plan, right? You're prepared. You go in, it's surgical. You go get what you need and you get out. You go put it away and maybe you do some meal prep. Maybe you chop some vegetables or different things for the week. Maybe you put together salads in a jar or whatever the thing is. Maybe you cook ahead. Maybe you crock pot a few things because it's going to be a busy week. These are the kinds of things that you have to look at your schedule and you figure out like what am I going to do to prepare for success? Because if you're not preparing for success, then you most likely are preparing for failure. And um and so you don't want that, right? If you're changing your habits, it's because you want a different result. You want something to change in your life. And so what do you need to do to get ready for that? So taking the time, this is another big one, is taking the time to sit down and actually make the plan. This feels sometimes really overwhelming. And it can just be like, I don't have time for that. Like, I don't have time to sit and make the plan. Well, maybe in your stillness time, maybe you could use some of those principles as well of just like, rub some oils onto your hand, breathe that in. Ask yourself the question, when will I have time to care for me? And just think about that. When are you going to put, when will you matter to you enough for you to make that time? And when you start to frame it that way and kind of think about it, like you deserve care. You're caring for everybody. You're doing all kinds of things that your boss wants and your kids want and your husband wants, whatever that, all the things. Like you're doing all these things. But what about what you want? And I'm not talking about this in a way of like, forget all of them and stop being the service minded person that you are. That's not healthy either. And it's not going to make you happy to just drop what everybody else needs. But it isn't selfish to take time to take care of you and to take time to take care of your own body. And for you to have some time to plan and some time to um, nourish yourself, some time to eat, some time to meal prep. All of these things take time. So I'll tell you a story years and years and years ago. So my husband and I have a blended family. And I went somewhere on a trip and I don't remember where I went, but I flew. And when I was by myself, which was kind of rare. I wasn't by myself on the plane, but I was by myself in the sense that I wasn't with any of my children. And I had kind of a long flight, like 3 or 4 hours, if I remember correctly. And so I thought, I've got a yellow pad of paper and I'm going to sit here and I am going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out my life schedule so that I can get the stuff done because I really believed at that moment that my problem was that um, I just wasn't very organized. And so I just felt like there were lots of, I was spinning a lot of plates, but tons of them were falling and breaking, and it was really discouraging. So I counted the number of hours in a week. I don't remember that hour. I don't remember that number right now, but I counted the number of hours in a week. I decided I better put my sleep in because everything comes crashing down very quickly if I don't get my rest. And then with the rest of the hours, I put in, how much time does it take for me to prepare meals? How much time am I spending? I was going to school at the time, so how much time am I spending on my schoolwork? Um, I may have also been building a business at the time, part-time, and so how much time of that was that taking up each week? We had, various house projects and other things that were going on. So these were kind of the outside things. But then I had 8 children that I was trying to connect with each week, at least, 1 or 2 times one on one with them. And then I had, responsibilities of helping them to learn, helping them. Some of them needed to help with their homework and, different things like that. And there was, of course, laundry and meals and um, cleaning the house and all of these things were part of it. And yes, I did engage my team, my family in these activities. We had a regular calendar meeting to make sure that, we knew who needed to be where, when, and that there was a vehicle available to do that. Anyway, you get the idea, right? We were busy people and I was a busy mother. All of my children were at home or in my home, because we're a blended family. So, at least once a week. And so this was, challenging. It was something. So anyway, I sat there on the plane and I estimated the amounts of time for each activity that needed to happen and how often these activities needed to happen. I spent a solid hour, maybe hour and a half moving things around in the schedule, just like looking at what needed to happen. And by the time I ran out of hours in the week, I still had quite a long list of things that um were not part of that. And in some ways it just felt so futile, right? I just was like, oh my gosh, for real. And also I'm one who very much believes in my favorite eights, which are delegate, eliminate, and automate. If I can, I'll delegate the activity to somebody on the team. I'll eliminate it completely if it's something that I can do without for right now, or if it's something that, it's just in the wrong season or it's just not needed. It's just like, it's just something that's sucking time. Maybe social media can be that type of thing where it doesn't really give you anything, it just takes from you. So eliminate and then automate, right? What can I put on autopilot? And that has to do with like your routines and different things like that. So anyway, it was I can't believe it's 15 minutes. Here I am just rambling on about my story. But what I learned was um, you know, I felt very let's see. I felt in some ways I felt like, oh my gosh, like it's futile. Like there really is no hope for me. And on the other hand, I started laughing because I was like, well, it's no wonder. So it was kind of a relief to just be like, oh, now I understand why I feel so overwhelmed. I literally have too much to do. I cannot fit it all in. So, I mean, this is a good exercise. I did take my exercise to my husband and we talked about some more things. He had some ideas and we were able to kind of shift some things around, reprioritize some items, do a little bit better job of, prepping or whatever. And so that's the idea is that you're going to work together with your team, whether it's your husband, your family, your kids, if you're on your own, you're gonna figure out like who is your team. If it's a really busy season, you have little children, your husband maybe is working a lot and nobody can cook at your house, then you're gonna create the automation that you need through um, frozen meatballs and chicken nuggets and whatever, those kinds of things. But look for products, and we live in a time now where the products are filled with you can find products that are not filled with bad ingredients. So you're going to just be paying attention to those things because that's all part of the I am prepared. And I really thought this was going to take a lot longer to talk about because I took a lot shorter to talk about, which is why I took so long talking about it just being prepared on basically the nourished side, but you can see how it fits into every habit. I am nourished, I am active, I am rested, I am still, I am present, prepared. And then tomorrow we'll talk about joyful. Or we might talk about prepared a little bit more because maybe you have some ideas or maybe you have some questions about ideas of how to be prepared in each of those areas. But hopefully, as I just listed through them, you're thinking about the things that you could do to make those activities um, easier and more likely to happen. All right. That's all I got for you today. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Stay sassy.